does that person whom I transferred it to after the lease is expired have some sort of first preference or right to the renewal of that lease?
Yes, most leases, Mr. Paul, in the covenants of the lease, deed of lease, the terms of the lease will have the entitlement of the lessee. And usually there's a clause that stipulates that the lessee has the first preference renewal. And if not, then the lessor could, with the discretion, put it for sale, etc. But even if they come in 1 year from expiration, they being the new lessee will now be bound by the same or inherit the same privileges as the lessee before them.
Right. Now, I know we've done a couple of projects, and I want to touch on this just because we're in the area, in the conversation. There is a relationship between the rental lease agreement tenants, land lease agreement tenants, and their right to purchase the lands. And so could you walk us through a little bit about I'm leasing land, I am actually renting land. I'm on rented lands. I pay my $300 a year. And today the landlord's son come and say, okay, mommy dead, daddy dead, I ready to sell. What is protocol?
Right. So that sort of arrangement falls under the Land Tenancy Security of Tenure Act. And that is a specific piece of legislation that was created to provide security of tenure, as the act is named, for tenants who would have been on rented land. It stipulates the benefits such tenants have, and when sale is to happen by the landlord, the manner in which that is supposed. 1 second.
Apologies. Yeah,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the manner in which such should occur, namely that the tenant has to request certain things from the landlord, that they have such entitlement to acts only by virtue of that piece of legislation. I don't want to go into advising too much, but you all are all free to go and look for that piece of legislation and see what is the process for the regularization of statutory tenants on rented land. That is not to be confused with persons who have deeds of lease, where there's a leasehold ownership created or leasehold title. This is when there's no leasehold title and there was a tenancy. Tenancy and title are two different things. You can convert tenancy into title, and that's what the act is there for, to create a title interest for you from a rental tenancy.
Right. So protecting, yeah, that was actually excellent, because we're talking about protecting your land, and a lot of these tenants on the land long, renting the land. Yes, they like know, and
60 years, 100 years.
They've been on the land now. They're paying the rent. They or some of them not paying the rent, but they know that they have a rent to pay. Talk to
and
me
they know
about,
they don't own the land. They know that there's a landlord. That is not adverse possession, right, guys? You would like to come and say, I'm in the land for over 30 years, and somebody tell me that if
somebody tenant, say, so. we very, I can't call somebody say, we are very, very cautious of him. Right? Now, I want to just kind of wrap this up with the last point, Ms. Daniel. We're talking protecting lands. What can I do as a land tenant to protect my lands? What education should I have? What should I know in terms of, and talk to me a little bit about why and what is the benefit of in the case of an apparent sale?
all land tenants to do title searches. I don't understand how people are comfortable being on land and they don't know who own it. That's
Paying a
number
rent to
one.
somebody. Paying a rent to somebody. We've
Correct.
seen it. You're paying
Correct.
a rent to the
To the
person.
wrong person. That's another thing. Somebody come and say that, you know, Tanti Myrtle grandson was my father and I am the new landowner. And you start paying rent to me. You never see me from Adam. I have a letter that looking legalish. You didn't carry it by any lawyer and you just start paying rent to me. Please stop doing that, right? You have a right, a constitutional right for freedom of information. And always remember that the registration of title, I want to reiterate this because I feel like so much of our citizens don't know this. The registration of title is public information that you are entitled to as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me repeat that. The registration of title, of land title, is public information that you are entitled to as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, it is made possible to you by virtue of the Freedom of Information Act, as well as some of your constitutional rights, right? And so, you know, that is why the Registrar General makes sure that these transactions are part of public records. Marriages, births, deaths, land title, and chattel transactions, such as bill of sales with vehicles and these kinds of things, they are all public records.
Public records.
Registration of companies are also public record. Who are the directors of the properties, these companies, numbers of shares, etc. These are public information. What is not public are things like divorces. I always tell people marriage is public, but not divorce, right? These things are actually under the family court and confidential by different means, but you can still find it out. So I'm saying that because so many people I find come to us on a daily basis with this person purporting to be a landowner without having successfully substantiating the same or refusing to show their land title documents. You are not obligated to pay anybody any money if they can't show that, right? You also have the right to get your searches done and find it out yourself, right? What's the next question you had asked, Mr. Paul?
No, I think we would have covered the fact that these things are public documents, so do not pay land rent to people who are just saying that they have a letter. And
Correct.
What else can be done in terms of what knowledge should you have? So we spoke about the land tenancy.
To protect, yes, to protect your right. So first things, title searches, right? Know whose land you're on, who is supposed to have it. Okay, I think we lost the support. You come back, and that kind of thing is very, very important. Secondly, you want to make sure that if you are on land for an extended period of time, you would want to have contact with the bona fide title owner. Many of you, if you're on land for more than 16 years, or just on land, I mean, it doesn't have any specified period of time if you're renting. But if you are interested in buying the land that you are on, and you know that it is owned by someone, under the act, you have the right to ask to buy. You can go to the landlord and say, listen, I would like to purchase. I would like to convert my tenancy into title interest. And you put that in writing. You also give them, say, I've done a valuation, and this is the market value currently. Under the act, I am entitled to pay half the market value. So I found that it is 400,000 per lot. I am on 2 lots, therefore that's 800,000. I would like to give you 400,000 for 2 lots. If they say no, they can't just tell you no, they have to tell you no for a reason. They have to actually give a specified reason. And if you believe that reason to be easily challenged, you can challenge it by going to the board as well. So there are so many things, if you are on rented land, that you are entitled to. I'm seeing somebody saying great information. Thank you. We appreciate the appreciation. And we're seeing some questions there, Mr. Paul. I think we also have some
Yes.
asked questions as well that was sent to us. So we want to make sure that, because these webinars are 40 people, so let's see
Right.
that.
So, yes, Mr. Britain would have spoken about Baron, would have asked why the prices of leasehold government property in leasehold government hold such high price. I mean, real estate will have its own market. That's not a legal entitlement. Yeah, so I'll have to say that.
Prices is our business.
Does the remaining unexpired term generally affect the market value of the land? I would say yes. I mean, you have hassle and you have less hassle, and hassle costs money. So,
No, you
if
see,
you have
the unexpired term. I mean, obviously, if I am selling a leasehold piece of land, and it only has 5 more years for the lease, it will be a lot cheaper than 25 more years on the lease. It should be. However, it is up to the purchaser. If you want to put yourself in that, market value is very interesting. It's not our business in legal, but it should definitely be a consideration and a factor to the market value of the land. Because remember, market value, there are a lot of considerations in market value, right? There is location. Most importantly, there is the resale value. So something is not going to be very marketable if you could only hold it for 5 years. I mean, or 2 years, you can't really resell it before you lose it. So that may be problematic.